Hey there, Nancy Drew Clue Crew. My name is Michael Gray, and today I am playing Nancy Drew Mobile Mysteries Shadow Ranch. Let's get started with Chapter 2, Kidnapped. And let's change the font. Let's go to Verdana. That might be easier to read. I think it's a little easier to read. It looks like it's a monospace font. I don't know what the difference is. This one has to be serif, this one must be sans serif, and this one must be the monospace one. Monospace is easier to read, so we're going with that. Chapter 2, Kidnapped. Nancy desperately tries to face her attacker. Seconds earlier, she was investigating a mysterious whistling sound and lights going on and off at the pump house. In the pump house, Nancy spins around. "Oh my gosh!" yells Bess. "Are you trying to give me a heart attack?" "You're the one who grabbed me," Nancy says, catching her breath. "Well, you're the one who yelled," Bess retorts. George rushes over, shivering in the cold night air. "What are you doing out here anyway?" "Well," Nancy admits, "I heard a whistle, a really spooky whistle. I wanted to check it out." "We heard that too," George replies, crossing her arms and giving Nancy an irritated look. "But we decided not to run out here in the middle of the night when it could have been who knows what. That's pretty reckless if you ask me." Nancy turns to Bess, who simply shrugs. "Personally, I'm not annoyed," Bess grins, "but it would be nice to be invited along once in a while." "Well," George begins, "what did you find?" "I don't know," Nancy says. "Someone was sneaking around in the pump house." "Should we check it out?" Bess asks. "What do you think?" "Do we explore the pump house, or do we call it a night?" "Oh, come on, it would be so boring if we went back home and went to sleep. Let's explore." "We should go see what's happening in there," Nancy whispers. "Oh, we should go see what's happening in there," Nancy whispers, gesturing towards the pump house. George nods in agreement, but Bess gives Nancy a hesitant look. "Do we have to?" Bess asks, "because I'm okay with never finding out what's in there." "Well, we're not," George responds. "Bess," Nancy reassures, "you don't have to come along if you don't want to." Bess lets out a frustrated sigh. Fine, I'll go," she relents. "But if something goes wrong, make sure they put 'I knew it was a bad idea' on my tombstone." Slowly, they walk towards the pump house, careful not to make a sound. "What do we do if we find someone?" Bess whispers. "Do we have a plan for that?" Nancy places her finger to her lips and gestures for Bess and George to follow. They reach the pump house only to find it empty, except for an unopened bottle of prickly pear pop resting on the dirt floor. All right, we got the prickly pear pop collectible. "Maybe our phantom intruder was thirsty," Nancy says. "It seems we caught someone in the middle of something they don't want us to see." "Yes, because phantoms don't want people to see them drinking pop." Bess nods, yawning. "I'm with her," George says. "We should call it a night and follow up on this in the morning." Nancy reluctantly agrees, and the girls sneak quietly back to their bedrooms and soon fall fast asleep. And next we get to wake up. The next morning, Bess bounds into Nancy's room full of excitement and holding a large stack of flyers. Oh, Bess is a morning person? Aw, come on, Bess. "Well, I mean, we were sneaking around in the middle of the night. You'd think you would sleep in a little bit." Then again, Nancy did have fretful dreams. Bess probably got, a better night's sleep than Nancy, so that's why she's jumping in her bedroom early in the morning. Maybe Bess is not really a morning person. She doesn't exactly strike me as a morning person, Comment on this video if you think Bess is a morning person or not. Personally, I would say that either George or Nancy would be a morning person. I'm gonna go with George, yeah, because Nancy's usually up at night, exploring things like mysterious pump houses, so she probably doesn't get a lot of sleep. I say George is the person who's the morning person of our little trio of heroes. Great, now that that's decided, let's continue reading. "Good news," she beams. "We're going into town." "What are those?" Nancy asks, pointing at the flyers. The newest brochures for Shadow Ranch, written by yours truly, Bess says proudly. And better yet, this means we get to spend some time in Tumbleweed putting them up. Why are you so excited about going into town? Look, Bess responds, don't get me wrong, ranches and cowboys and all that stuff are fantastic, but I need to spend a few minutes back in civilization or I'll go batty. When the girls enter the kitchen, Mrs. Thurman bustles forward. Girls, there's been a disaster. All the chickens got out of their coops. Shorty's chased them all down, but I need 10 or more eggs for breakfast. Could you go out to the forest and find them? Let's look for the eggs. Oh, goody, another hidden objects challenge. Just find the various nests and eggs and just tap on them. Looks like we have several in the trees. Makes sense, we have a lot of birds' nests in the trees. Doesn't make sense because I don't think chickens can fly all the way up to the top branches of a tree. But whatever. One more. There's one more nest, which I cannot find. There it is. In the tree. Yay, you found all of the hidden objects! And it looks like we have some collectibles here. Tumbleweed and the Tres Leches cake. The cake of 3 milks, if my Spanish is correct. Oh goodness, thank you girls, Mrs. Thurman exclaims. I'll make my specialty just for you, Tuscan omelet, griddle fried. After breakfast, the girls pile into the old pickup truck and take the long, bumpy road to Tumbleweed. Once they arrive, they begin handing out flyers. When they visit a Mexican restaurant called Pasquale's, the manager encourages the girls to tuck the brochures into a rack for tourists. The trio decide to lunch there, enticed by the spicy aromas and a colorful menu. Bess opts for the tostada salad with savory ranchero beans, topped with a cool guacamole and a mole sauce. Pronounced mole. That's how I pronounced it, right? George chooses a burrito and salad, but Nancy is more daring with an order of chili relleno. For dessert, they try Tres Leches cake, a Mexican specialty of a rich cream cake with a hint of lime. Or limon, you would call it if you're trying to pretend that you speak fluent Spanish. Durante de comer, Nancy examina la octavia plastificada en el medio de la mesa. Looks like este restaurante is sponsoring a scavenger hunt for horseback teams day after tomorrow. Says here each team must have at least 2 and no more than 4 riders. What do the teams scavenge for? Bess asks, taking a sip of fresh squeezed lemonade. Things you find in the desert, and you just take pictures. You don't actually collect anything. You get a list just before the race begins. First team to take all the pictures and ride across the finish line wins. Oh, get this! $1,000 cash and free nachos for a year! Yeah! George raises her eyebrows. The 3 of us could ride on behalf of the ranch. If we win, we could give the money to the rallies. They get the money, we get the nachos, Bess says, thinking it over. Works for me. Whoa. What if we use the money to buy sauce for the nachos? Yeah, delicious! Well, maybe the nachos already come with sauce. I mean, what kind of boring nachos would they be if they don't come with, guacamole and sour cream and stuff like that? Yeah. I'm pretty sure the nachos come with free accessories. In which case, guys, I think we're going on a scavenger hunt. We're going to get some money and we are going to get some delicious nachos.